So I finally finished Split Fiction, and I want to give my thoughts for a minute. This game is fantastic. I loved it. I played through the game with my wife. It was a lot of fun. And is it worth the $50? Because it's not even a $60 game. Is it worth the $50? Fuck yeah, it is, dude. It was so good. And it almost felt like it just kept getting better and better as you played it. So the concept behind this game is there's two characters named Mio and Zoe. They're very different in personality, and essentially Mio likes writing sci-fi, Zoe likes writing fantasy, and they go to this interview, I guess you could say, on trying to get their stories published. And this little bitch named Ryder is like, all right, guys, we're going to put you in a machine, and this machine is going to project all of the creativity in your minds. Get in there, and then you all go in there except for Mio. Mio's like, but I don't know about this shit. And then Ryder's like, oh no, you gotta go in, you gotta get in there now, you gotta go. And then Mio's like, no, and then they like accidentally push her into Zoe's little bubble, because they're all like little bubbles. They're being animated it, whatever you want to fucking call it. They're like suspended in air in these little bubbles. And then, she ends up in Zoe's world. And as you play through the game, y'all are kind of switching between each other's worlds. And it's kind of intertwining. And it's a lot of fun. It's insane how creative this game gets with its puzzles, with the concepts, how often it changes things, how many crazy set pieces there are. There's so much in this game. It is a crazy roller coaster all the way through. And the thing that kind of surprised me was I actually really liked the two characters. I really, really enjoyed them. I thought they were really well written. And they both kind of, especially Mio, I would say, but they both kind of developed as characters as the game goes on. You start learning about, Ryder is like, I have to extract their stories. I'm stealing everybody's stories. The entire game, he's just this fucking asshole. Now, I will say, I don't know if I missed something. I don't know exactly what his motivation was exactly, because he says that, it's not the ideas themselves he's trying to steal. He just needs ideas for his machine to be fully compatible. To be fair, me and my wife kind of talk sometimes during shit, so I don't hear every detail all the time when I'm playing certain games. So it is possible I miss certain things, but yeah, I didn't fully understand his motivation outside of just being a generic asshole dude who just wants to ruin other people's careers to further his own. But yeah, it is crazy how many set pieces are in this game. There's this cool part where you're basically snowboarding down a mountain, and it feels like a kind of like a Tony Hawk game, or like an old PS2 snowboarding game, right? Like Shaun White snowboarding, like that kind of shit. And it becomes a little competition right there, and you're trying to get more points than the other person. I beat my wife on that game quite hard. Don't take that out of context. But I beat her. I got a lot more points than she did. She was quite upset. But that's the kind of game I liked playing those games growing up. So I was really good at that part. And man, I don't know. I don't want to spoil a ton of shit that happens. There's so many set pieces. You go through so many different worlds. You find out the backgrounds behind Zoe and Mio, learning about them, feeling their feelings a little bit. I was starting to get a little teary-eyed towards the end due to some backstory that was being shown. It was really, really good, and I really, really recommend this game. This game was fantastic. I'm trying not to score games too much because it's starting to become like a weird thing for me. I feel like it's hard to really give something a score. But if I were to score this, it would be probably a 9 out of 10, maybe 8.5. I will say I do have one criticism of the game, but it's more so me comparing it to It Takes Two, which was also a fantastic game. it doesn't really have mini games at all. Actually, it doesn't have mini games at all. It does have these little side parts where it's like, hey, here's a seesaw, jump on it. Okay, it moves. That's cool, but it doesn't actually have any mini games, and it's not really a criticism of the game itself because it's more just a comparison to the last game. I was kind of hoping there'd be more of those, but it is what it is. I would still say I overall like this a little bit more than It Takes Two because I do like the characters more. It really gets hog wild towards the end. Y'all's worlds are like splitting into each other. It's actually super creative. It's kind of hard to explain. I highly recommend if you have somebody to play this with. Also, you only need one copy of the game and you can play it with somebody else. So there you go. If you buy it and you have someone else to play it, y'all could play it together. You don't need both of you to have the game. So that's a very nice detail right there. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. Tell me how you feel about this video. Sadly, I played it on PlayStation with my wife. We just kind of played it casually. I wasn't really recording while I was playing, so I'll probably just use some other people's footage, or maybe I'll use the trailer footage. Of course, I'll credit whoever's footage I use. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. Have a good day and play video games.